Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're cutting right through the fog of psychological manipulation to offer some real clarity and act as an anchor to objective reality. If you've ever felt like your own mind is playing tricks on you in a relationship, well, you're in exactly the right place. Let's dive in.
So, are you constantly doubting your own reality? Seriously, if you're currently in a relationship where you feel utterly confused, emotionally exhausted, and just constantly questioning your own sanity, I need you to know right now you are not imagining things. And no, you are not overreacting. What you might be experiencing is a very specific, deliberate pattern of behavior, and it's one that can severely impact your long-term self-esteem and mental health, leading to serious stuff like anxiety, depression, and even PTSD.
Here's what we're going to cover in this explainer. First, recognizing the gaslighting reality. Second, unmasking the manipulation toolkit. Third, the biological trap. Fourth, planning your safe exit. And finally, the journey to healing. Okay, let's jump straight into part 1, recognizing the gaslighting reality. Let's establish our very first anchor. Gaslighting is a form of deliberate psychological manipulation and insidious abuse designed to make a person doubt their own sanity, thoughts, memories, and reality. Think about that word, insidious. That means it is highly intentional. The term actually comes from a 1938 play called Gaslight, where a husband literally manipulates his environment to drive his wife insane. Today, we recognize it as a targeted, calculated tactic used by abusers to create profound isolation and self-doubt. It's designed to make you question your own thoughts and beliefs. Also, the abuser can maintain power and control over the dynamic. Moving on to part 2, unmasking the manipulation toolkit. Manipulators use a specific toolkit of highly effective mechanical strategies day in and day out. First up is withholding. This is where they just flat out refuse to listen to you, or they pretend they have no idea what you're talking about. Then there's countering. This one is incredibly destabilizing. It's when they directly challenge your memory of an incident. That never happened, right? And finally, trivializing. This is designed to minimize your feelings and make your totally valid needs seem utterly unimportant. These tactics aren't accidents. They are calculated strategies to steadily erode your epistemic trust, which is basically a fancy way of saying your ability to trust your own mind. Now, this is really where the rubber meets the road. Have you heard these? You're too sensitive. You're overreacting. I never said that. You must be imagining things. Or you're making a big deal out of nothing. If you're regularly hearing these specific phrases, you have to realize they function for one reason only: to make you cross-examine your own feelings. They want you to feel like you're always the one in the wrong. By constantly reframing your emotions as overreactions, they brilliantly redirect any attempt you make to discuss their behavior right back into a critique of yours. Which brings us to part 3, the biological trap. If you're asking yourself that incredibly unfair question society loves to ask victims, why don't you just leave? Well, we need to look at the neuroscience of the trauma bond you're trapped in. Narcissistic abuse operates on a strict cycle. Phase 1 is the idealization, or the love-bombing phase. This is where your partner showers you with intense attention. It feels like a once-in-a-lifetime connection. But this extreme, perfect high is violently contrasted by Phase 2, the devaluation phase. Suddenly, you're knocked right off that pedestal and put down with criticism, insults, and of course, gaslighting. You end up feeling utterly worthless, just desperately trying to get back to the high of Phase 1. The neurochemical cycle of this trauma bond involves intense dopamine spikes clashing with cortisol floods. Seriously, the science behind why you stay actually removes all the shame. You aren't weak for staying. Your brain has literally been chemically conditioned. During that love-bombing phase, your brain is releasing dopamine, the reward chemical, and oxytocin, which creates an intense bond. But during devaluation and conflict, your brain is flooded with cortisol, the stress hormone. This causes massive anxiety. The constant back and forth between these two states creates a neurochemical cycle that your brain misinterprets as intense love. It's essentially the exact same neurological mechanism that drives a severe gambling addiction. The absolutely crucial point here is perfectly captured in this concept. The good periods are not separate from the abuse, they are the mechanism of the abuse. B.F. Skinner's research on operant conditioning showed us that unpredictable intermittent rewards actually create the strongest behavioral trauma bonds. What does that mean for you? It means your brain is hooked on the relief from the abuse, not the person themselves. The dopamine spike during a sudden reconciliation is massively amplified by the sheer drop in stress. The good times are not a break from the abuse, they are the glue keeping you trapped right inside it. And this whole cycle is kept alive by something called hoovering. Yes, named after the vacuum cleaner. The reality of hoovering is that the moment you finally try to pull away, or even after they've temporarily discarded you, the gaslighter will tell you exactly what you need to hear just to suck you back into the toxic cycle. They might use sudden tenderness, make these grandiose future promises, or even manufacture a complete crisis out of thin air. This is exactly why staying entirely disconnected is absolutely vital for your survival.
So let's talk about getting out. Part 4, planning your safe exit.
Let's look at some concrete, actionable steps to safely emancipate yourself. Implementing a strict no-contact plan is absolutely vital here. The narcissist will try to contact you, for sure, because you've just cut off their supply. Step 1, block all numbers and emails immediately. Step 2, just go. No lingering goodbyes. Even if you have to end the whole thing over a text message, do it. Step 3, block mutual friends who try to persuade you to return. They don't know the abuser behind closed doors like you do. And step 4, this is crucial. Keep a written list of exactly why you left. Your brain is going to try to trick you into only remembering the good times, so you need this list as a hard reminder of the times they made you question your own sanity. Now, we know sometimes absolute no contact just isn't possible. Like, say, if you share kids and need to navigate a legal parenting plan. In those cases, you have to learn the BIF response method, developed by Bill Eddy. BIF stands for brief, informative, friendly, and firm. It gives just enough warmth to avoid triggering a narcissistic injury, but it's firm enough to set clear boundaries without giving the abuser any emotional leverage they can weaponize against you. You just state what is happening, do not engage with their emotional bait, and leave 0 doors open for further argument. To really protect your sanity against future manipulation, you should keep a forensic reality anchor journal. Now, this is not a diary. It's a factual record kept in a very secure place. After any manipulative interaction, write down exactly what was said, what factually happened, completely stripped of interpretation, and how you physically felt in your body at that moment. When the abuser inevitably tries to gaslight you later by saying, "Oh, that never happened," this journal preserves the objective facts. It helps you learn to finally trust your own perceptions again. And that brings us to part 5, the journey to healing. Healing from narcissistic abuse is a complex, definitely nonlinear progression. As you move through the stages of healing, you start with initial shock and denial, which eventually leads to physical separation. Then comes education, really learning about the abuse so you realize, hey, it wasn't your fault. From there, you go all the way to rebuilding your independence, making choices that actually reflect your own values. And eventually, stage 9, meaning making. This is where you turn your profound pain into purpose, perhaps by helping others going through the same thing. But reclaiming your personal confidence requires active, intentional work. First and foremost, seek professional, therapeutic guidance. Evidence-based therapies like EMDR or somatic experiencing are absolutely incredible for processing severe emotional trauma and the PTSD symptoms that get trapped in your body. Build a trusted support system. Maybe join a domestic violence or abuse recovery group. You also really need to practice techniques like observe, don't absorb. This means silently naming the manipulation tactic in your head as it happens, which interrupts your own emotional hijack. Oh, and absolutely ignore their grandiose promises. Real change is measured by consistent action, not empty claims. I want you to focus on this number for a second, 24. Establishing healthy boundaries is a massive part of healing. Let's say a manipulator tries to stonewall you by just walking away from a conversation to punish you. You can calmly assert your boundaries. You accept their withdrawal, sure, but you calmly state that you expect the conversation to resume within 24 hours. Setting a timeline like this ensures your needs are never permanently buried again, and you start reclaiming your power in the dynamic. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final, truly empowering question. What could your life look like once you step fully into your freedom? Knowing that a relationship is abusive doesn't magically dissolve the trauma bond right away, but time, distance, and accumulating genuine safe experiences absolutely will. You did not cause this. You cannot cure the abuser, but you can absolutely choose what happens next. You have the absolute right to be respected. So take that first, brave step toward a reality where you are finally free.